Welcome to another episode of Home Again TV. Hello, everyone. Guys, like that opening? Give it a couple of minutes for you guys to tag and share. Please tag and share. Tag and share. Thank you very much. Tag and share. Am I there? I still can't see me yet. This is going to be an extra special Home Again TV episode. We have some fabulous artists in the house. It's actually titled Women in Art. And if you can see this chick sitting next to me, I'm sure you can understand why. For those of you that don't know, and I know there's probably very few of you, I have Nicole Burton co-hosting with me today.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
This is my girl. I actually admire her artistry. She reminds me a lot of one of my historical favorite artists, Amina Robinson. Oh, there goes my phone. Oh, I'm there. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Sadea. Hey, Aunt Anna. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thank you, guys.
This is my co-host wave.
She did practice and came up with a wave. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Margaret. You know that's not what we call you, but anyway. Thank you. Hey, Latika. Thank you guys for joining us. Please hit the share button. I know it's a busy day. It's Sunday. But this is how we share information to the community. If you can hit that SHARE button in the left-hand corner, and that goes all out to your friends, and that makes sure that they can be a part of the conversation today.
And sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
I love that. I said that this week. We got to stop being so private.
Yes.
You know, I mean, in a world where social media can be such a positive tool.
Yep.
Because why do you think social media is a positive tool right now?
For me personally, I don't think that I would be where I am artistically, business-wise, without the influence of social media. My followers, my friends, family members that share, even people that I don't even know, share my stuff. They support me by sharing, tagging their friends, that type of thing. Sometimes we're so quick to share the negative that I'm always glad when people share more positive than the negative.
Well, I think in the 20 years that I've been an entrepreneur, this is the first time where I'm able to reach an audience for free.
Oh,
that's the biggest.
Yes.
I mean,
what? $3.99.
Even when I started my first business, it was expensive to because you had to do flyers.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about at Kinko's every week.
Yep.
And although it may seem that making flyers isn't that expensive, that becomes an overhead that isn't necessary now, right?
Right.
So I think that alone is pretty cool. And then you save time.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, what type of time was it me going door to door, handing out flyers?
Yeah. I've hit every event, standing outside, tagging cars.
Tagging cars, how about that one?
Right.
So as social media experts, I should say, because I think you're a social media expert.
Yeah, I need a little help on the marketing, my wordage sometimes.
But I think that let's talk a little bit about that as an artist. And I'm talking a lot about it with new emerging artists. Authenticity.
Oh yeah, like I don't sugarcoat stuff. Just, I mean, because when somebody meets me, this is what they're going to get. My face is just going to tell it all first. And normally, if they don't catch the face, then what happens afterwards is, approach at your own risk.
But that's what I like about you.
Oh yeah.
Because I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah, I think people need to be authentic, need to be real, because people buy the authenticity of your business. They don't buy the fake, because
They don't,
the fake
not
can
anymore.
only last for so long. You can pretend to be something that you're not, and then people will see straight through it. And they're like, I'm cool, I'm good.
Well, I think what's more important is in a world where we do have mature people who own businesses, but they started their businesses at a time when social media wasn't that prevalent.
Oh yeah.
But now they have to transition because, again, it's more less cost to do it, and it just doesn't make sense not to. But I'm noticing that the mature audience is challenged with the transition.
They're challenged because they don't want to, one, ask for help, ask a relative, a child, a teenager, a grandchild, a neighbor. Ask someone, get an intern, do something else. Stop knocking the Gen Xers and the millennials, because I keep a few of them in my pocket, because they, I follow them and they teach me some things. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to step the game up another notch.
Well, I don't think we're going backwards.
Oh, no, we're not.
We're not. So
Some
this
people-
electronics,
Oh, yeah.
the internet, social media, this is here to stay.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can either get on the bandwagon
Or not.
or you can lose a lot of momentum for your business. And what I always like to talk about is legacy. So you definitely are shooting yourself in the foot if you want your business to sustain into legacy,
Oh, yeah.
because you have to have technology.
Have to.
Yeah. Well, we're having a class. I know that you guys just thought we got into that conversation. I'm teaching a class on Tuesday at ECDI, which is, do you know that actual address? It's on Old Leonard.
1655 Old Leonard.
See? I love this chick. 1655 Old Leonard from 6 to 8. And it is primarily for the mature entrepreneur, but anybody is invited. We will hit on the importance of social media, but more important, help people feel more confident and comfortable in front of the camera. Because what you guys may not know and understand is that video and social media is the future to any small business marketing. So you got to get on, and the earlier you understand, the easier it'll be for you to grow this into your business. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I mean, again, the more we know, the better we are. It's one of my philosophies of things.
Yep.
Okay, we're talking about women in history, or I should say women in art. Visual arts have been a part of the African American experience throughout the lifetime of America and even in Africa. But we have to sometimes stop and recognize who those individuals were that paid staple to our communities. But not only that, I think it's more important is to make sure that we understand people today that are visual artists that have emerged into helping us understand history.
Yes.
Now, one of the things, do you know, are you confident in thinking that art is one of the ways that we understand history?
Yes.
And how do you think that is, just from your perception of art?
Visually, you can see what someone was thinking most times in what they were creating. If it is the use of color, I always like to ask an artist, what were they thinking when they started? Like, why did you choose those colors? Why did you choose, sometimes why did you choose that size? And, why didn't you go bigger? Or why didn't you go smaller? Or those different types of things. The colors, purple is a color of royalty. So I tend to ask, because some people don't, it might just be a favorite color. They might not go as deep as green is the symbol of life. They might not go as red is the color of blood. So sometimes I like to have those conversations.
Well, I think when you think about art, it sustains. And a lot of history you lose even architecture, design, just because it's a material. But what we recognize and how they know a lot of times what was going on at a particular period in time is because of art. Even going back to the beginning of art, to the caves,
Oh yeah.
they would imitate what they would see, which would maybe be some animals.
The
And-
hieroglyphs in Egypt.
Exactly. So, but that was a way for them to see what was going on in that time, because it sustains itself. So once we know that, we should have more value for the arts, knowing that they add value into our history, and it's a good way for people to peek into what was going on at that time. So back in, it seems like in 1800s, although art has always been prevalent, there was different forms of art that was more popular, like poetry, and although it's popular now more than it was in the earlier 1900s, but let's say poetry. Would you even say sculpting was popular back then?
Yep.
What else would you say was a popular form of visual art that was more popular then than it is now?
I would say dance, but dance is still, I feel like dance is making its way back to being popular and being seen with the dances that the kids make up and give the names that we had back in the 80s. WAP, that's whatever you call it, but this is the WAP.
They change.
They change.
It changes. Terminology changes.
But you know, I would say history repeats itself. Sometimes, like the architecture is changing, but in like older homes, if you go into an older home that's being like refurbished, they will try to keep as much of that as possible, because now it's way expensive to even try to get it upgraded or changed or do something else to it. So it's just easier to just keep it as is and take care of it.
Well, but that's what we're saying. Is that is the value of the art at that time. And understanding the art at that time makes us understand the art of history, which makes us appreciate art today once you understand its value yesterday. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, you guys? Give me some thumbs up if that makes sense. We're going to have several artists here talking about their artistry today, so please continue to tune in. You see, I'm not used to having no partner. Nicole will be interviewing with Michelle Bowie, who is an actual custom jewelry maker. I love her work. She'll be able to explain exactly what her process is. And then, of course, we have Bridget Parker, who is an emerging event planner, and she's going to explain to you some of her processes. So you guys are going to want to continue to stay tuned. I'm so excited to share with you guys. We're talking about women in art, and what's more important than how they provide us with an example of what art is today, as well as what it is and how they lived art yesterday. We have a clip that we'd like to show you on how African American women in art made an impact on our communities. We'll see you in a minute. Today we honor contributions Black women artists made to America, from its strifed beginnings as slaves to the dominant stance they created around the world. During nearly every era of American history, African American artists' contributions have been significant, but little known, understood, or appreciated. In the interest of broadening horizons, stimulating awareness, in support of a much neglected area of our culture, our aim today is to make invisible Black women artists visible, to lift the creative spirits and interest in those unfamiliar with the creativity of Black women in the arts. It has been said that art, by and large, is the spiritual utterance of a people, a reflection of their essence. The world of art is a world where traditionally blacks have not been involved as consumers or represented as artists. Works of art available for enjoyment and public viewing in the hallowed halls of the museums usually reflect the taste and view of life of the donor. The reason that so much of the art by blacks have been lost, excluded, or forgotten is simply few have felt it important enough to purchase the preserve. It is therefore important that we make some changes, enrich our cultural lives by becoming knowledgeable and supportive of the visual arts. What you guys think? Some good stuff, right? We have always played African Americans, I should say, have always played a huge role when it pertains to creativity. We have not always been acknowledged. We have not, things have been stolen from us. Our creativity has been stolen from us. But we always have existed. Even when I think about as simple as basket making. I mean, I would think it would be something difficult to do, but that was just something that they would do with like mud and clay or weaving.
Yep.
When you think that'd be a little difficult to do? No, not for
me
them.
personally.
See, this is what I'm saying.
No. I can probably just look at it and be like, oh. Yeah. But now, you know, there's some things I'm like, I'm not doing that.
What is that? What is something you won't do?
So I've tried to do like working with seed beads, also really little tiny beads. Once the string or something pops, it's a wrap. I'm done. Like I'll just give all that stuff away to somebody else because I'm not doing it.
That's Tyann's job.
Exactly.
See?
There's
we
other
have friends
people
for a reason.
have friends for a reason. I'm not doing it.
Well, one of the things that I think is important that we talk about is artists that influenced you. Because I think as an artist, we always have people that we've admired throughout our whole life that we may have tried to imitate or learn from. Did you have anybody in your life that influenced you?
Bob Ross.
Oh, God. The Afro guy?
Bob Ross was the homie.
I think he was mixed.
He had a fro.
He had a fro.
He had a fro. Me and Bob every Saturday. PBS. I would just not go outside and play. I had my tablet, I had my markers, I had my paint, I had my crayons, I had all this stuff in the living room. You know, it's Saturday morning, you know, of course your mom makes you get up and clean and all that good stuff on Saturday morning, but I was like, listen, me and Bob got an appointment, had my stuff, and I was painting happy little trees. There are no accidents, there are just, you know, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. So there were happy little trees over there in the corner, and then you had your little birds. And
that's how he spoke too.
yeah, he was real soft spoken.
Because he was high.
I'm sure he probably was.
I
But
mean,
you know, as a
been
kid,
high.
you don't think about that stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, when I saw him, his fashion sucked. I'm just trying to say, this is different between me and you. His fashion sucked. His afro was a killer.
But I mean, I wasn't looking. I mean,
And I said to myself, who's watching this?
I am.
You.
I was watching it. Oh, and I used to enter those contests. You know the contests in the paper
No,
that
I
had
wouldn't
like
know
the
that.
turtle.
Oh,
Yes, I used
from
to
the
do
children.
that. Yes, the highlights.
Yes, the highlights. I got the highlights every
Listen,
Wednesday from my
listen,
grandmother.
That was my stuff. Anything art related as a kid, I was there. I was doing it. I was on it. My coloring books. I had paper dolls.
Did you take the Saturday classes at CCAD?
I didn't. I didn't know anything about CCAD.
See, let me tell you what it feels like to be a little disadvantaged.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Well, one thing we didn't talk about is we are high school rivalries.
Oh yeah.
So I am a Tiger, which is the best high school
East
in
is nothing but a direction.
and you.
McKinley.
What is it, Bob Jr.? We will show you the way. That's really what she wants to say. But she knows so much about East because she was all up in there, all the time, loving us. She didn't really see. She can't even say nothing. She can't even say nothing.
My daughter's actually into East, but it's okay.
See? See? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we wanted to, like I said, we wanted to make sure that we knew who influenced Nicole.
Yeah.
But more importantly, locally, we talk about one of our most influential artists, Amina Robinson,
Yep.
which your work reminds me of.
I get that a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you are, to me, you are our Amina Robinson of this time. And so I think it's really important that we know that, which I think a lot of people already know that. But we also want to recognize other artists, because why is Amina like the only one that we know?
I didn't really find out about too many artists. Growing up, I found out I didn't really consider myself, first of all, let's talk about that. I didn't consider myself to be an artist until like 35 is when I actually, the first time I called myself an artist.
I was 45.
Yeah, but I've been creating art since I was 5.
Oh, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
So why did it take so long?
I don't know. I guess just because I did everything else. Like I worked with kids, I was a mom. But everything that I've done pretty much has been centered around art.
So we talked about, you was at the event when we talked about drip drops.
Yep.
And how God drips different things into your life for the end, for it to drop and flow into your purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you explain a couple of those drips that you knew was your drop into your purpose?
Yeah, so my Uncle George, I used to, my bedroom was my sanctuary. So, like I had an attitude problem as a child, and
yours was attitude, mine was jealousy, hater. We all had it.
yeah, my mouth was, yeah. So, me and my mom would bump heads because, that's what moms and daughters do. So she bought me puzzles to help me deal with my anger, but it would be like a small little picture, but the background was all the same. So I would have to, she'd be like, oh, just go do a puzzle. And it would take me a week or 2 weeks or something like that to get it done, but I would get it done, be like, I'm done, now what? So my walls became my paper.
Canvas.
Yep, that was my paper
That was pretty cool that she allowed you to do that.
for a little bit.
Because I was about to say, I don't think I could have did it.
Listen,
I don't think I could have did it.
so it was like the wall behind my bed, on the side of my bed, my bedroom door, then I was like on the closet door. And so then my uncle was like, you really need to tap into that. And he actually turned my room into like an art studio. So I had a rollaway desk, paper, any type of pencil I could think of, markers, all that kind of stuff. And so every Christmas, I just went to art supplies. I wanted a Creole caddy, and every year I just wanted somebody to add to it.
So I think that's real big to talk about for parents who have creative children. A lot of times, especially in a world of intellects, we always want them to get the Ivy League education. Not to say that there's not Ivy League art schools, but sometimes we tap in too late. I was a true example of that because I was also intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to think of me being creative, that just was like living in a weird spectrum. It's like, no, you're smart. Just stay there.
Yeah, I knew that I was different from a lot of my friends, like in high school. I was cool with everybody. I was a nerd and a jock at the same time, but I literally was cool with white people. I was cool with nerds. I was cool with the in crowd, all that kind of stuff. Like senior cut day, I was the only senior at school because it was on Friday, and I had 3 tests. I had a trig, a calculus, and a physics test, and I wasn't studying on the weekend, so I was like, just take me to school so I can take the test and go back home and kick it while y'all study over the weekend. So I'm not.
Well, you didn't have to. You were just that smart.
Yeah.
Some of us had to apply ourselves.
Yeah.
See? Creative.
Yeah, I mean,
Smart.
I was
some of us
spelling.
had to do a little work.
Yeah, I was, spelling bee champ in the 8th grade. I
See?
used to read the dictionary.
You see how people remember stuff like that? 8th grade.
8th grade.
Go ahead, spelling bee champion.
That's right. So between like my uncle and then my grandmother is where I get my fashion sense. She lived in Chicago. She worked at a store called iMagnet. And so, like my Barbies, that's where I got my first black Barbies from. And then they came with like their own set of designer clothes from people that she knew. And then I would just start to cut up my clothes to make my Barbie's clothes, because my mom wanted me to wear dresses. And I was a tomboy, so I didn't like those. I wore them on the first day at school to appease her, but after that she was looking for it, and Barbie had a whole new wardrobe.
I think it was called being an artist, because even it was so many artists that was confused that you were a tomboy, but it almost had its own little medium.
Oh yeah.
Because I felt the same way. I mean, today I'm like, I like dresses, but it still has to be like a certain type of dress.
Oh, it has to be like a maxi dress.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little kid, like I can't wear those jeans, but whatever. I get it now.
Yep.
But we want to continue to pay those individuals that stopped and recognized, or not stopped and recognized, but stopped and helped our community grow just based on their artistry. Now I always say this: is it Jackie Mom's Mabley or Mobley? Mabley. Okay. So Jackie Mom's Mabley, as you guys know, was a comedian, and she was on the Chitlin circuit back in the late 1800s. And we have a little clip for you guys to. Oh, we just have a picture. You guys, are you showing the picture now? Okay. Oh, I have some information to share with you about her. Let me give you a little bit about Miss Mabley. She was born in 1894 in North Carolina. She had a career that spanned over 50 years. And she made, at the height of her career, she made over $10,000 a week. A week, you guys. Yeah, and unfortunately, there were some challenges that happened to her. I think my daughter had told me she had been raped a couple of times by a family member, and then she also became a pretty prominent lesbian. Seemed like she had all the chicks. She had the chicks, she had all the fat. No, I'm serious. They showed her, she would have tailored suits like a madam, and her stuff was cold. Yeah, she would coming down the street, all the chicks would stop her. So I guess, it isn't anything new. It isn't anything new. So I love hearing these conversations and hearing more about our history. We're about to transition and talk with our next guest, which is Michelle Bowie. And I told you guys she makes jewelry. She's a creative jewelry maker. And in the meantime, we have a clip to show you and talk to you a little bit about Miss Phyllis Wheatley, who was one of our first published writers for African Americans back in the 1700s. Take a look. Phyllis Wheatley, born 1753, was the first African American woman to publish a book of poetry. She was born in West Africa, a slave at the age of 7 or 8, and transported to North America. She was purchased by the Wheatley family of Boston. They taught her to read and write, and they encouraged her poetry when they saw her talent.
Oh, okay, so we're back, and we're here with, I'm going to say she's my friend, because we've been knowing each other since, like 1995, somewhere around there.
About 25 years, probably.
Yeah, it's been about 25 years since we've been knowing each other. And so, to watch her journey over the past couple decades has been amazing. She's an amazing mom. The first time I spent time with her was I went to her house to do scrapbooking with Terry. And
Yeah.
Yep.
That's been some time ago.
Yes. Yep.
And was always doing something.
Yes.
Always
Okay.
doing something.
So tell us how you got into creating jewelry.
Okay. So I've been creating jewelry probably about 30 years.
Okay.
Believe it or not. I started creating jewelry for myself because I liked what I liked. It was a statement of identity because what I saw more inspired me but didn't quite fit the niche.
Okay.
So I first started doing it to wear what I wanted to wear. Then I was blessed to be able to own a nail salon. And in my nail salon, in my reception area, I had a boutique, very small, if you will. I would sell outfits. I don't know if you remember the oversized shirts
Yes.
with the pants, and they had all the bling on it. When my mother lived in California at the time, my father lived in New York, so I would go to the garment districts in each.
Okay.
And I would purchase some of those things, come back, and I would make jewelry to match. So I had a little area that I kind of sold some things. And from there, I just continued. That allowed me to sell it. As you know, you and I
Yes.
have done some events together. So I would take those things to the events. What had me continue, though, was my children. As you said, I'm a mom, and a mom of 10. And
What?
quite frankly, my creating has kept me going. It kept me alive and allowed me to do something. I know that you too can relate to that.
Yes.
As a mom, not allowing that portion of me to die actually blesses me.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to be creative. My daughter's now a mom. She's an artist, and I encourage her to do the same thing. So it's been a journey because at different times I was able to do a little bit more and a little bit less, but I continue to create.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing to create? So
Wow.
would it be earrings? Because you do also do like crocheting or knitting, and you incorporate that into your art.
Yes. Favorite. Always want to make it that last statement, make it complete. So probably earrings, just because if nothing else, I want my earrings to match what I have on.
Okay.
And it's easy for me because I know what I want. But I like the total look, which is why I brought the crocheting in.
Okay.
Just to be able to add that complete, I like my things to kind of go together. So the accessory piece kind of came alive in me probably about 10 years ago, just to kind of add a little more to the jewelry piece.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I am today.
Okay. So kind of walk us through your process. So
Okay.
when you're doing a complete look, so say you're doing a custom piece for someone, and they may want bracelet, necklace, earrings.
That in and of itself is a little bit different, just the whole custom piece,
Okay.
and I love that I came about that. But so my process right now is I currently have the fabric items in one store,
Okay.
and then I have my jewelry items in another. And I like to consult with people to kind of bring them together, see what they're interested in, and give them that complete look. Everybody's different, so not everybody wants it to be matchy-matchy, and that's fine. So with custom design is kind of coming together with the individual to find out what they want.
Okay.
But I offer a little bit of everything, be it crochet, whether it's a whole item, or crochet trim on something, or even blinging something that's already made out as you do.
Yep.
I will crochet a necklace. I like to be totally, where everything's totally beaded. And then currently, I was able to go back to custom designing jewelry for special occasions, weddings, etc.
Okay. So my really good friend Karen was married yesterday, and you were included in that whole beautiful gorgeousness that occurred on yesterday. And her earrings were absolutely beautiful. So you're allowed to go in with the dressmaker?
Again, I have some items at the mall, the Worthington Mall.
Okay.
I have, again, my fabric items in one store, my jewelry in another, and I happen to meet Princess, who owns Ella Rose Sweet Weddings. She and I were able to collaborate together. She custom makes dresses and appreciated being able to have custom made jewelry. So that process is that I am able to come in on the consult, if
Okay.
it's local, and meet with the bride myself and get a feel for what she's going to create in a dress, and then I from there am inspired to give them some options if they're not specific.
Okay.
So with Karen, I was in that process, and for her, she wasn't specific, so I created a few different pairs of earrings for her last consultation, her fitting, and she was able to choose. So that's how that process went.
Nice.
So I look at the beading on the dress, look at the style of the dress, and then I go to work kind of from there. So I like to bring the bride some options. And then there at the console, I can actually make adjustments. I usually bring a whole entourage of beads, etc. I have a mobile unit, and then I just, while they're doing their thing, I make the adjustments. So it fits by the time she's done, that we don't have to meet again.
They are busy. Now I've had that to do that for a bridal party, and I was consulted to do their jewelry. So my vision, what I saw was something different than what they needed, because my neck is longer than a lot of people's. Their necks were not as long as mine, so I had to, have my stuff there. I was like, oh, we can just take this out, boom, 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 and
And it's nice to be able to do it that way.
Oh,
to see them happy.
Yes.
That's part of the inspiration of being creative.
Okay.
I just think that every woman is beautiful, and to have the right thing for you, that right accessory, just makes you feel that way. As a homeschool mom, every day I get dressed.
you do.
Every day. And I do for me, not necessarily for anybody else, but I don't know what's going to happen today, but I have my accessories on every day because that's just me.
That's an inspiration, because when I'm at home, I look a mess when I'm creating. I tell people, if you see me at the Kroger by my house, just act like you don't know, because I probably got on pink sweats. That's probably going to be worth a whole bunch of money later on in life, but right now they just look a mess. I get dressed when I leave the house. Not so much in the house, but I might have to start doing that.
Well, again, it makes me feel better.
So when you get dressed, do you start with your accessories? So for me, I start with the accessories and shoes.
Okay.
So it depends on what shoes and accessories I'm wearing, and everything else is like afterthought.
Now, see, that's where I'm different, because my thing is the accessories makes the look. So when I say I get dressed, it doesn't mean I dress up. It means I get dressed, and I feel like my accessories make me dressed up. That's my thing. So my thing is I may just put on, some sweatpants. No, that's not true. Leggings. Leggings in the top.
Okay.
Because I'm more comfortable in leggings. I put on leggings in the top, but then I feel like my accessories is what's gonna make me feel like, oh, okay, if anything happens, I can go deal with that now.
Okay.
Because I'm in and out. I'm going to something afterwards. So I want to be prepared for that. And I have boys. 9 of my children are boys.
Yes, they are.
And I don't want my boys thinking that I want them to look up to somebody. I'm their teacher, I'm their mom, and I wanted them to be able, in the process, to look at a woman that was together and ready, and that means something to me. That I was ready to do the things that were necessary for them. And that they didn't wake up to somebody every day in that process that was just lounging, because I wasn't.
Okay. So how many of your children are creatives?
Ooh, probably all of them in some way or another, and that's the beauty of homeschooling. I let them get into whatever it is they like. Every last one of them in some way, except for one, but I think that he's creative in his own way. That would be my 6th child, in that he writes and he reads, so he's very imaginative.
Okay.
But everyone else does something with their hands or on computer or something. Most of them have gone through something. I have one that's a speaker as well. So again, you get to use that creativity that way.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, okay. Okay, yeah. So please tell us where you are. You're at the Worthington Mall, and you're in 2 different locations.
I am at the Shops of Worthington Place. I am at Pizzazz. I am also at the Op, that is where my jewelry is. And I am at Ella Rose Sweet Weddings with a display. And I'm on Facebook, Rita Fuller-Yates. Feel free to go through any of my items, make your request, and come visit me. Love to consult with you.
All right, thank you.
Harriet Powers, born October 29, 1837, was an African-American slave, folk artist, and quilt maker from rural Georgia. She used traditional techniques to record local legends, Bible stories, and astronomical events on her quilts. Only 2 of her quilts are known to have survived: Bible Quilt 1886 and Pictorial Quilt 1898. Her quilts are considered among the finest examples of 19th century Southern quilting. Did you guys see Michelle Bowie's jewelry? Now, she made this. Now I'm gonna bring it a little closer so you guys can see it. Now I don't know about y'all, but I don't see too many artists that can create something with such good quality, uniqueness, and fashionable. I see a lot of people make them, but it's like I would buy them to support someone, but it isn't necessarily something that I would wear. I would wear this. So I would highly suggest you guys looking up Michelle Bowie for not only for weddings, but for all occasions that she can make them custom made for you and your family. I love her stuff! I love it, love it, love it! Okay. We got another beast in the house! Oh, you know, you guys, y'all know I get so excited because it's not easy to be an artist, but it's not even easy. It's even harder to be one that is fresh, new, and emerging. This individual made a new transition into the world of event planning just this summer. Although she's been doing it for 20 plus years?
Over 25 years.
Over 25 years. I'd like for you guys to help me welcome this fabulous event planner, Miss Bridget Parker. She is the owner of Beauty Beyond Me, and she has a unique way of putting events together. Now, of course, we could spend a lot of time talking about her business, but you know what I like to do. I like for you guys to see her in her element, showing you about her business. What are we going to do today?
Okay, so we're going to set a table, a non-traditional table for Thanksgiving.
Wait a minute. Thanksgiving, now, do you have another color or something that you're going to use?
No,
Well, Thanksgiving is normally browns, yellows, orange, green. Why would I use purple?
well, actually we're using purple and we're going to incorporate orange to give you a little feel of the traditional Thanksgiving. But purple is something different. Like you said, you wouldn't expect to use purple. Purple is a color of royalty, so what better color to choose for Thanksgiving than royalty to incorporate it with orange.
So what you're trying to say to me is that we don't have to use the traditional colors of the holiday.
No.
So whoever said that?
Tradition.
We are breaking
Family.
tradition. Well, that's what I love about your work. Because I actually had the honor of attending her launch party last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday. And you put together these amazing tablescapes. She had about, was it 6 of them?
6.
All of them were uniquely made.
Yes. Different themes.
Different
We had a
themes.
wedding theme. We had a first lady theme. We had a corporate theme. We had a Beauty Beyond Me, and purple is Beauty Beyond Me's color. We had a Mother's Day luncheon theme, and we had a Christmas theme.
Well, I think that's really unique because, again, you're not showing that you're one-faceted.
No.
A lot of people can do events, and if they do Christmas events, that's normally what they may do. But what you're showing is, for one, you're creative with color. You're using it in a different way, which to me is pretty cool visually. I mean, it's not the same old, same old.
No.
But you also obviously put it together uniquely. What is your process when you're coming up with an assignment for an event?
Well, depending on the event, I look for colors that would coordinate, but also would pop. You know, I need something that's just gonna really pop. And then I'm a detail person, So for me, it's all about the details.
Okay.
The details actually make the table setting or wherever the event is. So.
Okay, well, let's get started. I don't want to use up any more of your time.
Okay, so we've already placed a tablecloth on, and this is a table topper.
So that's 2 pieces for those people
Yes.
that don't understand. Sometimes you are trying to be a planner and it looks like you may only use this one. Is that okay? They just use this one?
Yes.
What would be an option if they just use this alone
If
with
you
it?
just use this, you can just use what I'm about to put on top of here, just a runner.
Very
to give
good.
it a little pop of
Yep.
pizzazz.
Okay, so you can
So-
use a runner too.
Yes. So help me do this. So this is a runner that we're just gonna go on top. And to
You just spin
incorporate-
it through the center of the table?
Yes.
Okay.
And then to add your color of orange for Thanksgiving, here we go.
Okay.
And we're just gonna throw this across this way. And this is a table setting for 4.
Okay. So we've added some dynamic color, a
Right.
little shine,
Mhm.
obviously, with it being blingy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna add some chargers.
Okay.
To this one.
Now, how long you said, and when did you start doing event planning?
I'm originally from New York City, so while working, event planning was something that I liked doing. I love doing weddings, and I was called upon to do anniversaries and birthday parties, and so I just began to do it on my own,
Okay.
basically by word of mouth.
Okay. Now, I understand that you didn't start your business this summer based
No.
on just a excitement of starting a business or wanting to start a business. Tell me how you got started.
Well, like I said, I've been doing event planning for over 25 years while working, but this summer I lost my job. My position was eliminated suddenly. I think I had about 3 weeks, and I was like, wow, what am I going to do? So I went back to what I know and what my passion is, which is event planning. I love events, and I do it for my church, for my first lady. I'm actually her personal event planner. And I just felt led by the Holy Spirit to just launch Beauty Beyond Me officially. And so that's what I did. After losing my job, I chose to launch Beauty Beyond Me officially and to do it full time.
Why? That's real huge to talk about because to me, I mean, the same thing happened to me when I started and became an entrepreneur based on strife. I wasn't able to find a job. I had just got divorced and bought the home from my ex-husband. And at that time, I needed to find a way to supplement my unemployment. So I started cleaning homes, and that sort of launched the whole idea of owning a janitorial company. But if I could have found a job, I wouldn't have done it. So I think sometimes God positions us not to propel to the next level in a corporate situation, especially if He wants us to do something as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Well, 20 years later, I'm still here. So I'm giving you a little hope to give you a little inspiration.
Giving me a lot of
Well, if it's meant for you to be an entrepreneur, He'll work it out.
Yes, I
He
believe
definitely
he will.
will.
I absolutely believe that he will.
Yeah, so let's make sure we understand we're talking and trying to teach at the same time. So what would make you understand what to buy, what color napkin to buy? Because should these two match? Should the charger match that napkin? Is that why you came up with that?
Not necessarily. And if you take a closer look, you'll see that the chargers are a burnt orange, whereas this is like more of an orangey pumpkin type of orange. So it doesn't have to be matching match. It just depends on what you like and what you're trying to accomplish, the look that you're trying to go for. And you'll see that I'll be using another napkin, so it's going to give it some kind of contrast.
So what type of options
There you go.
would you suggest to someone who may not have orange napkins, or maybe there's not orange napkins at the store with this type of color palette?
You can always use white.
Okay.
White
So
is always
all-
elegant, crisp, clean. You can always go with white.
Okay. So some options for you guys is that In the interim that you don't buy the orange napkins, you can use white, and that helps does the same thing. But it looks like you also have purple napkins. I'm a little behind. Imagine that. Because I'm talking. Let me see, what do I do? Okay.
So, grab your other one.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take this by the corner and slide this through.
Oh, okay.
Just
So where
like
did you
that.
buy these
Very
from?
simple. I ordered these actually from CVLending.com.
Okay. So that's a resource for you that you
Yes.
suggest
It is.
that people
As
use. It's
well
pretty
as-
inexpensive.
Yep, as well as Tablecloth Factory.
Say it again.
Tableclothfactory.com.
Tablecloth Factory and
CVLending.com.
CV Linens. These are all internet companies that are good for those individuals that are just starting your own event planning company. Again, everything we do is to provide you with the resource and to make sure you go home with some good information so you can improve your daily lifestyle. That's what we're doing. Okay. Now, Bridget, you also are really good at making custom stuff.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so I make favors, and when I'm doing an event, I like to give some type of trinket, usually something edible or something that you can keep as a souvenir. I just think it's a good way for the people that you're doing events for or your clients to remember you by. And it says that you put some thought into it, and it just leaves them walking away with something to put a smile on their face. So in this case, these are little boxes of Russell Stover miniature boxes of candy. And this is candy also. It's chocolate six. And it's just a wrapper, something cute to color coordinate, and something that your guests can take home with them. These are actual name tags. So I think it's very personalized when you can.
Can I smell mine?
Yes, yours is right there.
Voila! I just knocked some over. Isn't that so cute? I love this. And when she had the event last week, we all had our own name tags or these nameplates, and I felt really special. And I think that's what it's about. And I also thought about, wow, the time and the commitment that she made to write down everybody's name, order these nameplates for everybody. It just made me feel really special. I think that's the unique thing you can do at an event where it's a whole bunch of people. That's pretty cool. I love that. So I have to put this goes next to the candy?
Yes.
Okay. And that helps support it. Okay. And then we have this beautiful centerpiece that you created. Now, are those fresh flowers or are
Yes.
those plastic?
They're all fresh flowers.
Okay. Do you recommend fresh flowers or?
I think it's up to you. It's your choice. Personally, I prefer fresh flowers, but there's sometimes when an event calls for using artificial flowers, and it's just your preference.
Okay. So I think sometimes now I call event planners visual artists, and this is women in art. That's what we're talking about yesterday, today, and tomorrow, because this is somewhat a new form of art to me. Although event planning has been going on all of our lives, we had grandparents do it at the church and all of that. It's now taken on its own new form of art, where it almost creates the space to make us feel a certain way, unlike any time before. What do you think has happened to transition to this place that we are at now?
Well, I think that now with the new generation,
Mhm.
people, they're not doing Thanksgiving and Christmas traditionally or
Mhm.
doing it like their parents did it. So they're looking for something quick, easy, cost effective, and I think this is a good way to do it. This is a good way to do it.
Well, when you think about it, one of the things I think about is social media has allowed for us to tap into the creativities of other cultures, other countries, unlike any other time before. My girlfriend I told you about that makes the balloons.
Yes.
The type of balloons that she does, she is inspired by people in Austria. I think that was the country. Was that the country? Because they do balloons like for every occasion, and they do it in a unique, creative way, unlike we did it here in America. But because of the internet, she was able to tap into how they did it, and she's been able to bring that process here to Columbus. And so I think the evolution of social media
makes all the difference because you're able to reach a vast amount of people, and just various types of people that you otherwise wouldn't get the opportunity to meet. So.
I love it.
Yes.
I love us being able to see all of these processes. Now we've got the colors, we've done the table, we've got the centerpiece. We've talked about, let's talk about your little creative pieces over there, your heels, the centerpieces.
Yes.
That one and the smaller ones. I want to make sure that they see, because one thing event planners, and I'm not discounting anybody's role as an event planner, so please don't take this personal when I say this, but event planners is becoming a very popular industry because many women enjoy creating and putting things together. So when I talked to Bridget, I told her, as someone who's been following marketing on social media and all that, there has to be something as an event planner that sets you apart from other event planners. Remember we talked about that. And one of the things that I think is phenomenal is that she makes special little, they're not little, are they gifts? Are they for a table? What would you specifically use these for?
Well, the high heel shoe is actually just another centerpiece that can be used, and actually I made it to go with this to put on either side. And
Oh.
you can put one.
So it complements that.
Right.
So you want to put that there?
I'll put it there.
And then you also,
It's actually a pair.
oh, okay. So you could put that over
one on
there?
this side.
Okay.
Yes.
So what she did to this is an actual shoe. This is a shoe of hers that she, did you spray paint it?
The shoe's not
It was
spray painted.
already
It's sequenced
silver?
already. The flowers, the silver flowers are spray painted.
So again, it's the creativity of re-engineering things that you use every day in your life for your decor. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, how many times have we bought a pair of shoes that we never wore?
Or don't wear anymore.
Or
Just
don't
wear
wear
it
it.
once or twice.
And you can go ahead, and if you're insecure about germs, you can always put some tape at the bottom to put on top of your table.
Yeah.
Love it. So let's go with
This would be a souvenir. This would be something, for instance, for my launch party. I love high heel shoes. I love shoes. So for my team, I created this as a souvenir and as a thank you to give to them.
I think it's really cool because again, you can it's versatility. It has versatility to it because you can put different colors in here, right?
Yes.
And different color shoes based on maybe it's the bride or maybe a girlfriend day where you have different color shoes. I have a girlfriend who wrote a book about it's a children's book. Horrible with the name of that book, but I just remember we were all different shoes, which explained different personalities, and this would have been so perfect for her event. So again, we don't know why we need or why event planners have become so popular, but we do understand that they're a need for them because of your creativity at events. I love this type of stuff. Pretty cool, right? You can get one of these for your event, right? You can use these at an event. You do centerpieces, florals, arrangements. Also do table toppers. You also put events together as far as a collaboration with other people.
Right, I can put a complete event together, from having a guest speaker to caterer, just whatever your event calls for, whatever it is that you need.
Okay. So how can they get in touch with you if they want to use your services?
beautybeyondme@yahoo.com, and I'm also on Facebook.
Okay. So you guys can continue to watch our artists that we had with us today. You guys know Nicole Burton. If you don't know her, please continue to follow her and purchase something from her, okay? You will definitely want to keep, we talked about history. We talked about legacy. Her products are something that you can keep and pass on to the next generation. I'm just trying to give y'all a little insight. Then of course we had Michelle Bowie. Y'all already know her stuff is cold. I love how unique but quality oriented her jewelry is. And then last but not least, we had Bridget Parker, who is an emerging event planner. You saw these fabulous colors that she could put together. It doesn't have to be traditional. She can do it in a unique way for your friends and family for the holidays. Holidays are like in a week. I'm just saying, it's about to go down. Because I basically say once Halloween is here, it's a wrap. So we gotta start coming up with those good ideas. Contact our 3 artists today in the interim that you're looking for a great creative gift. And make sure that you continue to tag and share with your friends and family. Our information is to ensure that you grow in your home and your household. Our lifestyles have to change, and with new resources just makes it a little easier. Everything we do is not done in vain. It's to help you become better. My name is Rita Fuller-Yates, and I'm your lifestyle expert, and I'll see you next time. See you. I had the honor of spending an afternoon with these beautiful ladies of the Quilt Club of Columbus. It was so exciting seeing tradition, legacy, and creativity living in the same space. Good job, Second Baptist Church, for your continual support of heritage and the arts.
We're the African Parish House Quilters. We meet at the African Parish House, which is at 189 North 20th Street. We meet the third Saturday of every month from 1 to 4 p.m. So anybody who's interested is welcome to come and join us. We do participate in community projects. Right now, the main project that we're working on is making quilts for the homeless, which is Star House being our benefactor right now. We're benefiting from the quilts that we make. And the reason that we focus on the homeless is because so many of them are out in the elements and they don't have even appropriate clothing or quilts. So that's who we're working with right now in terms of donating our quilts. We also exhibit in various venues. Most recently we have exhibited at the Martin Luther King branch of the library. Not this year because they have the new one, and so we got to kind of figure out how we're going to reconfigure everything. But we've been active in the community since '97, and as long as the Lord gives us health and strength, we'll continue to do so.
I love what you're doing. Now, do they have experience with quilting?
No, because we actually teach individuals how to quilt. If they're interested, we start with the basics, the hand stuff first, as the ladies are doing today. They're doing everything by hand. For those who are interested in using their sewing machine, we can also help them learn what their sewing machine can do, what it can't do, the various attachments that go to it, and then they can do the sewing machine in terms of their quilting.
Wonderful. I love what you're doing. Continue the mission. We need it. This is something that I think could die.
Well, that was one of the reasons why we started it, because we found that a lot of the individuals, parents and grandparents quilted, but we didn't quilt. And so, yeah, absolutely. And there's a rich history that goes along with the quilting in the African American community, and so we want to keep that alive. So that's one of the reasons we found it.
Thank you for that.
You are very welcome, and thank you.
So you guys got the resource regarding Second Baptist Church. They did an excellent job in they have a quilt class or a quilt club. Yeah, so that again, I think is something that we don't talk about, is the unique, different arts.
Oh yeah, my friend Wendy Kendrick is into quilting, and her quilts are absolutely beautiful. She just did a showing at the King Arts Complex, and it was based around cards.
See, visual arts just keep growing.
Yes.
And it's going to continue to grow, even adding in, like I said, event planning wasn't a form of art, I don't think, but it seems
now.
like it's grown into it. So we're always excited to share regarding the arts, and I'm so happy that Nicole joined me today. You guys are going to see her more often in the future. She's going to join us as we talk with more artists, local artists. We want to make sure that we provide a memory for the future generations of people who are making a difference locally in Columbus, Ohio. So again, thank you, Nicole. I love everything that she's doing. Please continue to watch her. Can you give your contact information?
Yes, I am Kinks by Nikki. That's KINCSBYNICKI on Facebook. Nicole with an H Burton on Facebook. Kinks by Nikki on Instagram, and that's also kinksbynikki.com.
All right, you heard it from the horse's mouth. See you guys next week. Mwah.
Peace.